Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I am going to be taking a look at another 2024 release, this time from one of the greatest bass players of all time and a musician who has been a major force on the European jazz scene for almost 5 decades now. And he has seen it all, done it all, and played and collaborated with just about everyone you can imagine. And he's a musician who, quite frankly, in my opinion, needs no introduction whatsoever. I am talking about, of course, the one and only legendary Norwegian bassist, composer, and bandleader Arild Andersen, and this is his newest album for ECM Records, Landloper. So, Landloper historically marks the first time in Arild Andersen's career that he has recorded and released a solo bass album. And Arild Andersen, of course, joins an elite club of legendary bass players who have recorded and released solo bass albums for the ECM label. Names like Dave Holland, Miroslav Vitous, Eberhard Weber, and Larry Grenadier, to name a few. And of course, as we all know, Arild Andersen is one of the greatest bass players of all time and has been a cornerstone for the ECM label for over 5 decades. And he has been a major part of some of the greatest and most important albums in history as part of the ECM label. And Landloper is not what you would call your typical solo bass album. It's a live performance that took place in 2020 at Oslo's Victoria Nasjonal Jazzscene, and one piece was recorded at Arild's home. And a lot of the material that's featured on this album is comprised of standards and a couple of Andersen's originals. And what you hear from Andersen is not just him playing solo bass, he uses a lot of looping, effects, and electronics to create this very dark and brooding atmospheric sound. And the music and the playing at times is very heavily improvised and slightly leans towards avant garde with a very chamber esque sort of sound. And the sound that he generates is in a very high register and very amplified, similar to what another legendary bassist has done in the past. I'm talking about, of course, the legendary Eberhard Weber. And as a huge fan of bass playing, especially where solo bass is concerned, this is an album that I've been waiting for Arild Andersen to put out for a really long time. So my wish came true, and it's a very enjoyable listening experience. Not what you would call easy listening. You have to really be in the right mood to listen to this kind of album, but it's still a lovely album, very enjoyable, and some very deep and evoking playing from one of the greatest bass players of all time. So let's have a look, shall we? So there is Andersen, and there's Andersen again, and there's some of the material. So as I said, that a lot of the material that's featured on this album is mostly standards, and we've got three Arild Andersen originals, and we've got an arrangement of a piece that Ra Kalam and another legendary figure, Bob Moses, composed. And what is used on this album is, of course, the acoustic bass and effect pedals and lots of loops. So everything is live and in real time. So there's no pre recorded backing tapes. Everything you hear here is all live, and it's absolutely beautiful, in my opinion. And we've got the first track, Peace Universal, which is very haunting, very brooding and has got a very menacing tone. And at times it sounds like an orchestra, but it's all Arild Andersen, and it's a great way to kick off this album. It really helps set the tone for what this is going to be all about. Then we got Dream Horse, which is an Arild Andersen original. Ghosts by Albert Ayler, and it's made up of three parts. So we got Ghosts, Old Stev, and Landloper, which is, of course, the title track. And then we've got A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square by Manning Sherwin, Myra by Arild Andersen, Lonely Woman by the legendary Ornette Coleman, and that leads into another track by another legendary bassist, this time by Charlie Hayden, called Song for Chi. Great collection of material and some mixture of originals as well. And from top to bottom, it's just an absolutely wonderful album from one of the greatest bass players of all time. And the standout tracks for me are Peace Universal, Dream Horse, A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square, Myra, Lonely Woman, and Song for Chi. But the entire album from start to finish is just absolutely incredible, as you'd expect from a musician of Arild Andersen's caliber. You know, he really knows how to create a lot of emotions on his acoustic bass, and the way he's able to get lots of different sounds is just absolutely incredible. So there you have it, Arild Andersen Landloper, a fine album from the ECM label with excellent production, as you'd expect from Manfred Eicher, and a worthy addition to the solo bass collection for the ECM label. So there you have it, Arild Andersen Landloper, one of the best albums of 2024, in my opinion. Beautiful album and highly recommended for fans of solo bass performance. Excellent stuff. Love it. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite track from Arild Andersen Landloper? Is it Peace Universal, Dream Horse, Ghosts, Old Stev, the title track Landloper, A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square, Myra, Lonely Woman, or Song for Chi? Or did you enjoy the entire album from start to finish? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.